WRSR, Owasso, Flint. The following program has been pre-recorded and is paid for by Discover Flint Township. The views expressed are those of Discover Flint Township and do not necessarily reflect the views of 103.9 The Fox or Krill Communications, Inc. Welcome to Discover Flint Township, a program showcasing our local community. Flint Township is ready for your next move. And now, your host, Flint Township Economic Enhancement Director, Tracy Tucker.
I'm Tracy Tucker, and this is Discover Flint Township, brought to you by Flint Township Economic Development Authorities, HAP, Financial Plus Credit Union, Shea Automotive Group, and 103.9 The Fox. We're wide awake, and we hope you are too. This morning, we will be speaking with Bridget Hollingsworth-Stafford. I always have to say it all.
Put that full name in there.
Yeah.
I'll drop the Hollingsworth at some point, but so many people know me by that. You know, it's weird.
Yeah. She's from HAP, and she's going to have a special guest from the Crim Foundation, and then we'll shine our guaranteed rate business spotlight on one of our newest businesses, American Freight. We have a lot to get to today, so I want to get started with Bridget.
Good morning.
Good
How's
morning.
it going, Tracy?
It's good. It's good. For those of you who haven't listened to our show, well, I don't know what's wrong with you. You should have been listening.
Get on the stick here, would you?
Yeah, but Bridget is the Director of Marketing and Community Outreach for HAP in their Mid-Michigan market. Is that right?
Right. So I work here in our Flint office at Linden and Corona Road.
We love that
That's
building.
my home away from home. But of course, right now, most of us are working from home still.
Oh, I know. And I know we have a lot to talk about today, so I'm going to let you get right to it. I'm going to let you introduce our guest, and while you do that, I'm going to step out so you guys can have a conversation.
Sounds great. Thanks, Tracy.
Yeah.
So I have with me today as a guest, I have Joe DiMambro, and Joe is the race director for the HAP Crim Festival of Races, and we're going to talk about some of the new projects that are going on with the Crim and how HAP is supporting them and how you can support them as well. So good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Bridget. How's it going?
Awesome. Thanks for joining us today.
Happy to be here. Always happy to talk about, the Crim and HAP and getting people out and active and healthy. So happy to be here.
All kinds of great stuff happening. So you guys have just recently launched a new program. So tell us about Crim 365.
Yeah, that's right. So we launched it on March 1st. It's called Crim 365, and it's been a couple years in the making where we've been thinking, people get ready and they have a great time at our HAP Crim Festival of Races that happens on the fourth Saturday in August. But for so many people, there'd be a huge buildup, leading up to the race. They'd have a great experience. And then, myself included, I'll voluntarily say I've done the same thing, where after the race happens, you start to see some of those healthy habits you formed start to fall off. So this need for additional support and making, kind of that Crim mentality or leading up to a race, you're always taking care of yourself a little bit more before a race. Why not extend that taking care of yourself 365 days a year? So that's why we came up with Crim 365.
So it's designed to help us not just have Crim from May to August.
Exactly.
like I was guilty of that too. When I did my 10-mile race, that next day, I can't tell you that I went out and ran right afterwards.
And we're not saying run or walk literally every day. You're not allowed to have a day off. That's not what it's about. And one of the other aspects of Crim 365, I think, is we're trying to frame it as it really is more of a lifestyle / club atmosphere that we're trying to create, where people, even if you're not a runner or walker, we still want to have you part of the Crim experience. So whether it's, you're super into cycling or some fitness classes, yoga, you name it, if it's moving your body, we're all for it. And that kind of goes into our tagline for Crim 365, which is body, mind, community every day. So the body part would be the physical activity. Mind, you've done it. You've done some training yourself in our mindfulness aspects in our mindfulness department. The Crim's the lead agency for mindful cities, and Flint's kind of like the flagship mindful city for the United States, which is pretty awesome. So, but incorporating some of the mental health aspects, it's been clear, especially during the pandemic, just how important taking care of your mental health is as much as your physical health.
So that support for the mindfulness activity and some of the other things, how do people benefit from being a little bit more mindful and thinking about things in that way?
Yeah, it's a great question. And this is coming from someone, the Crim started mindfulness a couple of years ago, working into it as far as having the department and being a part of the Mindful Cities initiative. I'm relatively new to mindfulness in that I've been, practicing for only a couple of years now. And I started as an absolute, on the surface skeptic, but then learning more and more about it, I learned that I was doing more mindfulness practices and not even realizing that I was doing them. But the whole point behind mindfulness is really just to be in the present moment, not reacting, but instead, being able to respond in a mindful way where you're not, you're in charge of your emotions, you're able to manage your stresses a little bit better, and really just be fully in that present moment enjoying it.
And it sounds like it's really kind of assisting with emotional intelligence. And we're hearing a lot about emotional intelligence and how important that is for success in business, for success in life. And so is the idea to kind of get people with a foundation that they can build on?
Yeah, absolutely. I think and that's one of the ways that habits stick. And then we keep on talking about habits and, do the race and then you stop running or walking. That's not, the most solid habit. But by having these habits of doing a little bit every day, a little bit in the body, a little bit in the mind, a little bit around community, it's really shaping how you're interacting with others. And yeah, to your point, the emotional intelligence piece and being, what we call a mindful leader, where we're working really hard at that. The Crim has a fellowship where we're going to be able to teach the Search Inside Yourself curriculum to people in the community, which is an amazing program to teach emotional intelligence and mindful leadership. And the program itself has tons of backing and scientific studies that show that on top of just improving quality of life, it actually has a lot of pretty serious business benefits. So if you're looking from a business standpoint, and whether it's employee engagement and happiness, or even just budgets and having really good sales, mindfulness is one of these things that it's a buzzword for a reason, and it's because more and more people, for so many years, it was kind of groundbreaking for people to think that being physically active was good for your health. Hard to believe that was
that was
ever
a question, right?
But you go back to the 40s, 50s, it was, and I think that mindfulness and taking care of your mind is going to be a similar trend.
Awesome. So I'm happy to hear that that's part of Crim 365. The part that really kind of piqued my interest and helped to kind of bring HAP on as the presenting sponsor of Crim 365 is kind of the new element of engagement with your community. Tell us what that looks like.
So yeah, we at the Crim Fitness Foundation have a rich history of incorporating our communities, whether people are out setting up water stations along the course, or with our community education initiative, this idea of doubling down and really focusing on how we can better interact and support our own community, whether it's volunteer efforts, if it's becoming aware of all the work and advocacy that goes into making trails, paved trails and sidewalks available for people. So being physically active in your community and neighborhood is an equitable thing to have. So by having, this group of people that's focusing on, this aspect of, being an active and engaged member of a community, we just see it as, taking it the next step beyond volunteers, but really creating ambassadors that are for the betterment of everyone's lives in the Flint community.
Awesome. So you're going to be looking for people that are engaged with the Crim 365 program to maybe become more advocates for like safe running spaces. I know that's something I hear a lot about. People say, I'd love to be more active, but, there's debris in my neighborhood, or there are no sidewalks, or things of that nature. So you're looking for people to kind of tackle some of these issues?
Yeah, and we can do it in great, fun ways. Go for a run or walk, but have everyone have a bag where we're picking up trash. There's a term
like
for that.
Like a contest. Who got the most?
Exactly. Or, there's something to be said about, I was able to do it a couple times over 2020, but helping out at a Flint community school site with food distribution or sports equipment distribution.
Yeah, that speaks
Spend
to
a
me.
day doing that, and you'll realize how important it is. And just to see people in the community and really recognize the interdependence and how we're kind of all in this together. I think that's one of the main takeaways from everyone could experience from 2020 is that we're all in this together.
Oh, exactly. And so how does this, in your mind, fit in with the HAP Crim Festival of Races? How does it kind of supplement that?
So me coming from like a racing background and running for so many years, I know it. I'm trying to strip away any competitiveness to that when I say this, but like basically treat every day like race day, where you're being the best version of yourself you can be, sustained over the entire year. It's supporting you being physically active, where you don't have to start the engine back up again and have your working out be seasonal.
Maybe just a little tune-up in the spring.
Exactly, yeah. Some check-ins periodically, rotating the tires, things like that, but not having to totally, have to, create a new engine or anything like that. But taking care of yourself every day a little bit with the body, and starting to incorporate more and more of the mind, because really that body-mind connection we feel is super positive, and they're going to benefit each other in very, reasonable and trackable ways. And then community, really trying to make sure that everyone's working towards making the greater Flint area, and even if you're, a part of a different community, making whatever community is your community better and having you be an active and engaged member of it.
That's awesome. How can people get more information about Crim 365?
So you can go to crim.org/365, and from there we have information about our Crim Fit training program, which also kicked off registration March 1st. That's a training program that's helps tens of thousands of runners and walkers get ready for their Crim race. But yeah, crim.org/365 will take you for more information on the training program, as well as Crim 365, all the benefits and how you can sign up.
Okay, let's talk a little bit more about the Crim Fit training program. I know that was really what got me started. It was in 2019, so I'm probably due to, to do it again. But in 2019, I found so much value in joining the program because I had never really run before. I didn't really know how to train. I didn't know what to do, but I knew that because of HAP's connection with the Crim and with the race, that I needed to engage in some way. So I found the training program a great way to give me a framework and a sort of a frame of reference. And probably my favorite part about it was that I've made probably 20 or 30 new friends that were in my Crim training group, and I'm still friends with them. I do see their posts on Facebook all the time where they're running all the time, and I feel a slight bit guilty, but bottom line, I made great friends. I had great support. And so how do people, what kind of feedback do you get from people about the training program?
So yeah, the training program's been around for over 20 years, and the first batch of group leaders, they're incredible volunteers. They were kind of seasoned 10-mile veterans, and they thought, well, let's help people get ready for a 10-mile race who maybe thought they could never do 10 miles.
Like me?
So they
10
did.
miles, are you kidding?
They did it that first year, and they followed a training plan that we've tweaked here and there, but it's a very positive and easy to follow training method. But they did that first year thinking, hey, we'll teach people how to run or walk and get ready, and then we'll be done. They'll know how to do it. Our work is done. And those people that did the training program, the participants that first year, as soon as they crossed that finish line, they're like, when are we going to start meeting again next year? So it's a testament we hear over and over again that while take all of the benefits and training and guidance out of it, the connections, the friendships, the support system that you get to be a part of by being in the Crim Fit training program is really what brings people back year after year after year. I mean, there are people that don't need the training. They know how to do the 10 mile and they maybe have ran 30 or more of them, but they come back and, they're part of the training program to be with that group that they know and love. There's something to be said about, the shared, I wouldn't call it pain, but the shared hard work that goes into minutes, hours out on the roads. You get to bond with people in a special way. So that's why I think a lot of those relationships stick. And for those people that did the training program last year in 2020, yeah, it looked different at the start just because we weren't able to do what we traditionally do. But for so many people, that was one of their few opportunities for connection with other people outside their house. So we heard from a lot of people that they really appreciated the training program last year, even more so. And based on the response we've had in this first week of registration opening, people are super excited to get back out there and train with their groups.
Oh, that's awesome. So they're liking having this opportunity. It's easy to maintain social distancing and appropriate, protective activity when you're outdoors. So that's got to be a nice feature.
Yeah, our groups are pretty small, and we've put the cap even smaller just to make sure it's not a huge, large group of people. But yeah, I mean, HAP has done an amazing job at supporting us throughout the years, and not just the HAP Crim Festival of Races, but the Crim Fit training program. And we've had so you'll see them probably out in the neighborhoods and on the streets, but you see people wearing those HAP gaiters, and there's tons of ways to basically be a part of a run or a walk with a group, but still maintain that social distance and still be have the camaraderie and the support out there while you're out running or walking.
Now, I'm sure you're getting this question quite a bit right now, but has it been decided yet whether the HAP Crim Festival of Races will be virtual or in person this year? And kind of what are you guys looking at to make that decision?
So we're not quite ready yet to lock in and make our decisions. We want to keep on watching trends and how they're developing. Based on some recent lifts and restrictions and things are trending absolutely in the right direction and in our favor. So, we kind of viewed this over the past couple months as, a best case is the race is as it normally is with the full festival and the full expo and, no limit to the number of racers. That may not be able to happen quite yet, but again, I think that we're going to be able to do better than what we would call our worst case, which would be 100% virtual again like last year. I think we're going to be able to have some people come down downtown and start and finish their race on the bricks this year. So we're hoping to make more of a concrete decision again after more things have time to develop sometime in May or June. But make sure you stay tuned.
So fingers crossed for now, right?
It's trending in the right direction. I think
Awesome.
I'm on the optimistic side of things.
Well, I choose to usually be there too. So we're gonna stay there with you for now. So give us a few more contact info, website, Facebook. Where can we get more information about Crim?
So yeah, all Crim, it's my department, the race department, and training is just a small fraction of what the Crim Fitness Foundation does. So I highly encourage you to learn more and go to crim.org for all the information. But yeah, information on the training program or Crim 365 is crim.org/365. You can always call the Crim office at 810-235-3396, or you can give me an email. I'm always happy to respond to emails at jdimambro@crim.org. I know that's a lot, so I'll spell it out. Yeah, it's JDIMAMBRO@crim.org.
Joe DiMambro at
That's it.
Crim.org. So for more information, and of course you can always visit HAP.org for more information about HAP, the products and services that we offer, and the community support that we lend to our community. So I want to thank Joe DiMambro for joining us here today. Please take a look at Crim 365. It's a great opportunity for you to incorporate health, wellness, mindfulness, and activity and nutrition into your everyday life, which is something that we all need to do.
That's right. Yeah. And again, really focusing on connecting with each other and being active, engaged, helpful members of our communities.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Joe.
Thank you, Bridget.
Well, that was great, Bridget. That was so nice hearing you talk to Joe about the Crim.
Yeah, we're excited about all kinds of stuff coming up.
Yeah, that was wonderful. And just a reminder to people, we will post their program. They did a little video about the 365 program, and we'll make sure we get that on our YouTube channel, Discover Flint Township. And also we'll probably share it on Facebook as well. I think I might have already done that, but if I didn't, I'll do it. So I would like to remind our listeners, if you have any questions for us, please email discoverflinttownship@gmail.com or visit us on Facebook at Flint Township Events. You can find all of our shows on our Discover Flint Township YouTube channel. And if you would like information on available properties in Flint Township, visit our web pages, discoverflinttownship.com or flinttownship.org. If you'd like to develop a project in our area, feel free to contact me directly, ttucker@flinttownship.org. I'd once again like to thank everyone for listening in today, and thanks to our guests, Bridget, Joe, and Jessica. I appreciate you coming in. Thanks to our partners, HAP, Shea Automotive Group, Financial Plus Credit Union, Guaranteed Rate, and 103.9 The Fox. Join us again next Sunday to discover Flint Township at 7:30 a.m. on 103.9 The Fox. I'll be interviewing the ladies at Shea Automotive Group about who puts the she in Shea, and you will meet David Gaines of Gaines Jewelry. I'm Tracy Tucker, and I would like to remind everybody, stay safe, stay healthy, shop local, buy local, and discover Flint Township. See you later.
This has been Discover Flint Township with Tracy Tucker. For more information, visit discoverflinttownship.com. Flint Township is ready for your next move. The preceding program was pre-recorded and was paid for by Discover Flint Township. The views expressed are those of Discover Flint Township and do not necessarily reflect the views of 103.9 The Fox or Krill Communications, Inc.